Good morning. The contents of this pot were your soul. What would you have cooking in it? What would it look like? What would it smell like? What would it taste like? I'm sure it would be absolutely delicious. Would it also be filled to the brim with love and happiness and joy? Of course, it's not the pot or the outside of the pot that matters. It's what we put in the pot. And we're going to liken this pot today to our bodies. Our bodies are our temples. They are the container or the vessel for our soul. So when it comes to preparing your favorite batch of sweet soul soup, you are the chef, and you choose the recipe that suits your taste. And just how hungry are you for a luscious life? Would you like to rediscover your wholeness? I'll bet you would. Back in the 1900s, Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore noted and encouraged a growing trend toward conscious food choices. He said, "There is a relationship between thinking and eating, and as you grow spiritually, the character of your food and all that pertains to eating may have to be changed in conformity with the new order of things. New thoughts, new lifestyle, new diet." The Fillmores made sure that the Unity students and the employees had food that nourished their souls and fed their bodies. The Unity Vegetarian Inn, as it was originally called, opened up in 1906. They offered dinners reflecting the Fillmores' belief that a fruit and vegetable diet was consistent with biblical directives and the best thinking in nutritional science. By the 1920s, Unity Inn was one of the largest vegetarian cafeterias in the entire world. It was serving over 10,000 meals a week. When we go to visit Unity Village for World Day of Prayer this September, we'll be taking our meals at Unity Inn. We'll be walking the sacred grounds, visiting Myrtle's gardens. We'll be entering the Peace Chapel and the Fillmore Chapel and the gardens and the fountains. But we're also going to take a side trip to Tracy Avenue, where the Unity movement really began. We're going to sit in Myrtle's healing rooms, and we're also going to see where that original cafeteria used to be. For nearly 50 years, Unity Farm was famous for its orchards, its cider, its eggs, its milk. And they had over 5,000 apple trees, 400 other fruit trees. They had beehives, over 100 beehives, that would help pollinate the orchards and the blackberries and the 12 acres of grapes. From Genesis 1:29, "See, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with its seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food." Isn't it funny, after those folks back over 100 years ago, we've come full circle. Right now we can get food of every kind in any kind of restaurant. Food from all over the world, raw food, cooked food, vegetarian food, vegan food, macrobiotic food, you name it. We have the opportunity to enjoy a meal anywhere of our choice. And we are once again becoming more aware of our relationship between our food and our bodies. Good nutrition is as essential for the realization of wholeness as one's emotional and spiritual work. And believe it or not, eating healthy foods supports all of us in collectively raising the consciousness and the commitment to transform our lives and our world. So we're going to head over to my little soul kitchen over here. And because I am kind of a sloppy cook, I can't start creating anything in my kitchen until I put my apron on. You got to get ready, right? And what's the most important tool in your kitchen? It's this little apron here, let me tell you. Unless it's their favorite wooden spoon. We'll talk about that later. So, we're going to get ready to cook up a little bit of serving our soul. And step one, the first thing you want to do for yourself to serve your super soul is to prepare the space. Set the table. Set yourself an altar. So we're going to just give you a little example of what this will look like. You've got a place next to your favorite chair. Take a moment, clear it off, and start with some fresh, beautiful items that inspire you. Maybe something that you enjoy to read. I have a whole bag full of little rocks and goodies in here. And another thing that you'll want to do is to light a candle. Clear the space. Make this your sacred time. Make this your sacred space. Get ready. Start the day. You deserve to have candlelight. Bring out the light in you. Say a prayer and start the day. So that's step one in our kitchen. Step two, well, every kitchen has at least one, and that's grab a good cookbook. If you want to feed your spiritual soul, I personally choose grabbing my daily word. This is a wonderful way to start your morning. This little daily word puts it all in perspective. And just like any kitchen, we all have more than one cookbook. Science of Mind. Maybe you're inspired by Abraham or Carolyn Amiss or any one of those wonderful people out there sending daily messages. Find something that you like to read, that you want to enjoy. Something that you can savor the flavor of the moment. Sit with those affirmations and allow them to feed your hungry soul. Step 3, gather in your ingredients. This step is easier than making a trip to the market because the journey now is inward. It's time now to sit for a spell in the silence, to quiet your mind, still your body, and allow yourself to taste the rich, sweet, juicy joy of being in the silence. To be aware of the world as it comes to a hush around you. Here is where you can linger and simmer slowly, allowing the presence of God to permeate your soul. From her book, Lessons in Truth, Emily Cady writes, "Watch carefully, and you will find that there are some things, even in the active, unselfish doing, which would be better left undone than you should neglect regular meditation." She wrote this in 1919. And today, all the books, all the magazines, television, talk shows, they're all boasting of the benefits of meditation. Emily, Charles, Myrtle, they were pioneers in this arena. Older than them, however, was yoga and mantra and meditation practices that dated back thousands of years. So how's come we're so slow to grasp the benefits of carving out some time for yourself? to serve yourself with the highest and the best. Take time for yourself. Spirit craves and requires this kind of nourishment. Feed your soul some silence. Make it a heaping portion. Feed your body peace and quiet. Step 4, gently mix and fold. Do a little breath work and a little bit of movement. After I'm done reading my daily word and I've sat in the stillness for a while, I'm ready to do a little bit more. And I practice each morning with some pranayama. Pranayama is a Sanskrit word meaning prana, meaning life force, and ayama means to master or control. So do some conscious deep breathing every morning. That's the pranayama, the life force, moving in and through you. And then after that, you can stretch and move, or maybe you want to do a little bit of yoga. My teacher and guru, Yogi Amrita Sai, explains, yoga goes beyond just the physical postures that you see in mainstream. It is a dedicated, disciplined cultivation of tapping in to the inner soul. Simply being in touch with that vitality and consciousness is the essence of life. Yoga was actually born in a natural, spontaneous state, that state of inner strength. The real practice of yoga is in learning how to create both harmony and balance in your life. Any changes you make on a long-term basis that will sustain you ongoingly are the changes that happen when you learn how to access your source. The strength, the power, and the wisdom lie hidden within you. So try arousing your senses, blending some breath and some movement each day. Stretch, take a walk, tend to your garden, be in nature. Just breathe and move in the rhythm of life. Step 5 to serve your soul is to step out and serve others. Once you've filled yourself with the awareness and the expansiveness and the joy of receiving, you're able now to freely give. Mahatma Gandhi said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Maybe you are already volunteering here at our wonderful Unity Spiritual Center. This is why our church functions so well and why you feel like you're at home, because it's warmed by the love and the energy of our ushers and our greeters. It's our committed and dedicated volunteers, our helpers, our gardeners, the creators, our board of trustees, to our kitchen angels. Everyone serves so joyously and so freely. Serving others allows us an opportunity to bring a full tray, an overflowing pattern of love and light to any situation or any organization. Our church is blessed. We have prayer chaplains, musicians, artists, writers and readers, and service coordinators. We have a variety of healing practitioners, Reiki masters, and yogis. We have folks here that tend and help animals, those who create beautiful visuals and make sure our sound's working here. We have generous donors. We have amazing teachers back there with our children. Our staff, Margie and Kathy, Bonnie, Jerry, and Frank, they serve us beyond their job descriptions. And of course, our spiritual leader, Reverend Barb, she dedicates herself to help guide us to fulfill our life purpose. We have folks that volunteer in nursing homes, in 12-step programs. We have those special ones who make an extra trip to bring someone to Sunday service. And we have those who simply sit next to you, sharing their light and their love. By serving others, you allow yourself to be the heart and the hands and the feet of God. If you're not sharing some of your time and talent or shining your light somewhere in some way, I urge you to step forward and give today. You will be rewarded beyond measure. By opening yourself to Source, you serve your soul, and this opens the pathway to serving others. And we have a couple of folks who just were a demonstration expression of that, and that's the Fillmores. In April 1890, magazine Thought, Myrtle Fillmore announced the opening of a new department that she called at first the Society of Silent Help. She wrote, "All over the land are persons yearning for truth, yet so dominated by the surrounding error that they find it almost impossible, without a helping hand, to come into harmony with divine spirit. To open a way for those and to help them overcome their sins, ills, and troubles is the object of Society of Silent Help." Well, they found out you didn't have to be present to receive the healing through prayers. They knew that when two or more are gathered, there's a power there. So this little band started to meet every night at 10 o'clock. And they prayed with all those who were in trouble, who were sick, who were living in poverty, or who just sincerely desired the help of the good Father. So anyone joining the society, the only requirement was at 10 p.m. to sit in the quiet for at least 15 minutes. And the words will be given each month. So just imagine, if you will, it's 1890. The world's quieter and moving so much slower. It's 10 p.m., your day is closing, you've lit your candle. Here are the words that Myrtle wrote for that first 30 days. Please join me. God is all goodness and everywhere present. He is the loving Father, and I am his child, and have all his attributes of life, love, truth, and intelligence. In him is all strength, wisdom, and harmony. And as his child, all these become mine by a recognition of the truth that God is all. God is all. Those monthly class thoughts, as they were called, turned out later to be called Red Leaf. They were messages that people were literally applying to different parts of their bodies. So just imagine people as you're walking through the streets of Kansas City and you see these people with these red things pinned on their bodies. They were applying these affirmations to various parts of their body for healing. Must have been quite a sight. Charles Fillmore wrote that the red leaf was of value not because of any mysterious physical virtue it possessed, but only because of the diligent use of the affirmative prayer printed on it, that it might quicken the one who used it into a realization of his oneness with the healing life of God. That little band that met in silent soul communication at first only consisted of Mr. and Mrs. Fillmore, but then it grew. And today the spirit of these two moves through silent unity work. In this very moment, in the past moment and in the future moment, there is someone praying in that cupola on Unity grounds. They've been doing it for over 120 years. Prayer happens all over the world, anytime, day and night. And if any of you have ever called the Unity Helpline, the first thing they say is, "How may we pray with you?" So devoted were the Fillmores that together they created and signed a dedication and covenant, which read, "We, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, husband and wife, hereby dedicate ourselves, our time, our money, all we have and all we expect to have, to the Spirit of truth, and through it, to the Society of Silent Unity. It being understood and agreed that the said Spirit of truth shall render unto us an equivalent for this dedication in peace of mind, health of body, wisdom, understanding, love, life, and an abundant supply of all things necessary to meet every want without making any of these things the object of our existence." They signed it in the presence of the conscious mind of Christ Jesus, the 7th day of December, 1892. They didn't find this covenant until many years later. It was slipped under some paperwork when they were doing some archives. So it came out to be, look at them. See how the power of your pen in your hand, your commitment, your covenant to yourself, that's devotion. And I encourage you to take out a pen today or tomorrow morning when you're lighting and preparing to feed your soul in the morning. Take a piece of paper and a pen to it and dedicate something of yourself to serve your soul. And so, how do we feed our souls in a way that creates inner and outer peace? Soul service means enhancing our bodies and minds in every way, through exercise, through spiritual practices, relationships, rest and relaxation, spending time in nature, being of service to others, and of course, good nutrition. Connecting to our wholeness is the cornerstone to a happy, healthy, meaningful, abundant life. From Corinthians 1, "So, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it for the glory of God." So, friends, as we close our talk today, I hope I gave you some food for thought. And I'm just wondering, what ingredients will you be gathering to feed your soul? What will you be cooking up? How will you be glorifying your body and serving your soul? Bon appetit. Bountiful blessings.